Hey folks, Grant from Gunspot here for Toolster.com. In today's video, we're going to be talking about getting the vitals from various angles. All right, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about making sure your rounds end up in the vitals from various angles. And so I'd like to say, not everybody has had the benefit of sitting through an autopsy on a human being like us cops or former cops that have been there. But suffice it to say, the upper chest, centrally located between basically the nipple line, is really where you want your shots to go. Now, that's easily said, but in the real world, bad guys are not always presenting a front-on target. Sometimes they're at angles, they're turning away from you as you're engaging, and we have to have a three-dimensional perspective when we train. So a lot of times this is the weakness of paper target only style of training, because it gives us a nice perforated ring or identifier as to where the thoracic cavity would be, and no matter what angle we're shooting from, we tend to frame up in that circle that's printed on the target. And this is one of those reasons why I really like the rubber dummies, because even though it isn't hugely deep or deep as a human body is, there is some three-dimensional aspects to it. So as you train getting off the X or off the line of attack, you can practice putting rounds actually in the vitals. So let's step over here to the paper target and we'll kind of describe some of the deficiencies with paper from the realistic standpoint, and then we'll walk back over here to the rubber dummy and we'll talk about and show you the angle that'll allow you a much broader context in training. So here we are with our paper target. Pretty standard type of paper target. I believe this one was a law enforcement target that's used in Oklahoma. It's one that I use in some of my classes, and we have this nice oval here that is to denote our desired impact range. And when we go to the range and we're shooting straight on, it's super easy. I want to stay in the middle of that oval. But as I get off that line of attack, if I'm aiming for the center of that oval, I'm probably, in the context of a three-dimensional world, I am not getting that bullet deep tissue penetration that's getting to as much of the vitals. So I have to have that perspective that when I'm shooting for real life, I need to bring my sights back onto what wouldn't necessarily be as perfect a shot when I'm going to the angles to get my rounds through as much vital penetration as I can possibly get. Kind of goes without saying, if I have this much space, I don't want to be shooting at the edge and risk missing those vitals as the bullet is passing through the torso. All right, so here on our rubber dummies, again, I love rubber dummies for this particular context. They're superior to the paper target in that it allows you enough three-dimensional aspect to the target to practice that side shot so that your round would actually get the kind of success that we're hoping for in that life and death gunfight, versus just a beautiful looking target with nice groups in numbered spaces or squares or whatever they may be. So let me shoot a few rounds from different angles and let the camera see what I'm looking for as I shoot on the rubber dummy. All right, so here we are. We're in your traditional shooting stance. Bad guy is looking straight at you. He's squared up broadside, and it's going to be very obvious. This is where I want my hits to go from this position. Okay, now we're going to blade off at about a 45, and we're going to show where our shots need to go to get vitals from here. All right, and here we are back at the opposite 45-degree angle, talking about angle to target vitals here. So as you can see by our three-dimensional target, we have 3 different distinctive groups on our rubber dummies that are all equally effective. They're just a matter of perspective where the vitals would be. Remember, that bullet isn't hitting that spot and that's pay dirt. It's what lies in the center of the chest cavity that we want our rounds to touch. We can blow the peck off, that's only muscle. It's got to get to the heart, the lungs, the liver, the spleen, the things that push and process blood if we're going to take this bad guy out of the fight. Hey folks, thanks for watching. This has been Shooting the Vitals from Angles. Remember, train hard, your family deserves it.